Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to Fallout, where today we're going to be going over 10 more of the most difficult armors and, I guess, clothing to go over. Most of the time we're going to be talking about armors in this one, though. Our very first armor is the Remnants power armor from Fallout New Vegas. This is the most powerful armor in New Vegas, at least in terms of overall durability stats, and this is a throwback from the Enclave armor in Fallout 2. So in order to get this one, you're going to have to actually go to two separate places to get it. You're going to have to go to the Silver Peak Mine. This is to get the helmet, and in the Silver Peak Mine, it's loaded with Cazadors, and there's also the legendary Cazador in there. So good luck with that one, because those things are terrifying. And then the body is located in the Deathclaw Promontory. This one can be found across the Colorado River at a certain point. It's actually in an unmarked location, so you're just gonna have to know where this is, or you're just gonna have to be wandering along the river. And then once you kind of see an outcropping of rocks over there, you can swim over there. The place is infested with Deathclaws. You have to kill through the Deathclaws, and then you can get this armor. Or I guess you could potentially try to outrun the Deathclaws. You might be able to do that with like Implant GRX, and then you can find the body. You still need power armor training to wear this, so you're gonna need help from the Brotherhood in that regard too. But this armor is very, very strong. It has the highest defense out of any armor in Fallout New Vegas, with the body coming in at 28 and the helmet coming in at 8. That is pretty substantial compared to other armors. It does give you +1 strength and +15 radiation, at least on the body. The helmet gives you -1 charisma and +5 radiation resistance. This is a very cool armor, and will likely be the armor that you're shooting for if you're going with heavy armor, although there is quite a few really good heavy armor choices in New Vegas. New Vegas did a good job of balancing kind of all the armors to be worthwhile in taking, whether you wanted to go with light, medium, or heavy. This was just the tankiest of the heavy armors. Our second armor for this list is the Desert Ranger Combat Armor. This is also found in New Vegas. This one is found in the Honest Hearts DLC. This is in Zion, and this one is located in one of the caves. This one looks pretty much the same, although slightly color swapped, I guess, from the regular Ranger armor. This one can be found in the Stone Bones Cave, which is one of the few caves in Zion that can also potentially have the various books in them. So that's kind of a whole other discussion about the books, where in Zion there's 4 or 5 caves, I don't remember exactly how many there are, but there's a couple of these caves where you can find the workbenches if you go over to them and loot them, or at least loot a box next to them. Then there is a chance that they could have various actual skill books inside of them, to where you can actually get multiple books within the same box. You can potentially get the same book within the same box and multiples of them. These are only a couple of books where you can have like repair and science and I think a couple other ones. But there is potentially a whole bunch more skill books in Zion, or you could potentially get unlucky and get no skill books in Zion. It totally just depends. That's one of the few random, like, skill point locations in the game. Either way, the Desert Ranger Combat Armor is here. You can just find it on a table, and this one is really solid, especially if you want to rush Honest Hearts really early on, because this one gives you 22 defense, which is very high for medium armor, and then the helmet gives you 5 defense. These don't actually have any other bonuses to them. They're just very solid armors. Coming in at number 3, we have a two-way tie, because you can get these kind of either way depending on what you side with. So this is the armor of the 87th Tribe, and it's also the Scorched Sierra Power Armor. Both of these can be obtained after you've completed Lonesome Road, and this is dependent on which faction you decide to nuke. So depending on whether you nuke either the NCR or the Legion, or both, then you can actually get one or both of these armors. You will have to go to the location that opens up after you've completed Lonesome Road and after you chose to nuke either one or both of them, and then you can fight your way through the new marked men that are there, and then you can get both these armors. The armor of the 87th Tribe gives you 22 armor, which is pretty decent for heavy armor. This one also gives you +10 action points, +3 crit chance, and +1 charisma. So all of that is pretty nice on most builds, unless you're going with like an explosive build where you don't really care about the crits. The Scorched Sierra Power Armor, I'd say, is the better of the two though, giving you 24 damage resist, giving you +2 HP regen every second, which is actually pretty nice because it stacks with other HP regen perks or food. So that's really nice. Also gives you 25 fire resist and +1 strength. This one does weigh a little bit more though, since it is more like power armor. And you do need power armor training in order to actually wear this, so be sure to get that before you get the Scorched Sierra Power Armor. But this is probably going to be like an endgame armor, unless you want to like rush the Brotherhood and then rush Lonesome Road, and then use it for the rest of the game, which you absolutely could if you would like to. Coming in at number 4, we have the Elite Riot Gear. You find this one in the Lonesome Road as well, in New Vegas. We're going to be talking about New Vegas quite a bit in this, because it does have a lot of unique armors. The Elite Riot Gear is probably considered the best medium armor in the game. At least I would consider it the best. It is very good. Where you do need to find the 3rd Street Municipal Building, and then go through, like, the tunnel that actually leads there. Once you go there, then there's a body that actually has this armor, and you can take it off of him. And this armor is really good. So this one provides 22 damage threshold, and it's only medium armor, which is really good. That's one of the highest medium armor damage thresholds in the game. The helmet also has 6 armor on it, and then the effects are this one gets you plus 5 crit chance, plus 10 guns, and plus 1 charisma. That's just from the body. The helmet gives you the sneak sight, so this is kind of like the night vision, but not exactly the same as like the varmint rifle scope has on it. This will also give you plus 5 speech and plus 2 perception. The funny thing also with the riot helmet is that it doesn't actually count as a headgear, so you can also put like the first recon beret underneath this and have even more crit chance. It's a really strong build, and it's probably like the biggest reason to maybe go for medium armor over light or heavy armor, because this one is almost equivalent to heavy armor in terms of defense. It's actually better than some of them, and it gives you a bunch of bonuses on top of that. Plus, it doesn't slow you down as much, so like the elite riot gear is really good. I debated putting the advanced riot gear here too, but the advanced riot gear I think is a little bit easier to get, since it's about midway through the Lonesome Road when you just have to climb up a building and then you loot another body and get it. Our 5th armor is actually going to be moving away from New Vegas and into Fallout 3. This is the prototype medic power armor, which is a unique armor that can administer medics to you whenever you need it, potentially. This can also get you addicted to medics, though, which is a little bit annoying. The prototype medic armor can only be found in the sewers of Old Oldney. This is the town that's full of death claws, which you do need to go there for broken steel, because this is where you actually need to get a part of the Tesla cannon to make that. But inside of those sewers, and it's kind of out of the way, then you have to find a dead Brotherhood member that is actually wearing this armor. So it's not going to be a safe location to go at pretty much any point in the game, because Deathclaws are pretty scary, even in Fallout 3, where things tend to not be as dangerous. They can still do a lot of damage, so you probably don't want to be trying to rush this one early on. You probably want to be grabbing it later on. Overall, though, it's actually pretty good, because it's pretty much the same as regular power armor, where it has 40 damage resistance, and it has plus 25% radiation with minus 1 agility. Pretty standard for power armor overall. It doesn't come with a helmet, so you can wear whatever helmet you would like with this. There isn't like a prototype medic helmet, but that would be kind of cool too if there was. Staying with Fallout 3, our next armor is General Jingwei's armor, which is only obtainable through kind of an exploit in Operation Anchorage. So you do have to be aware of that exploit, and you have to go through with it, which is why this one shows up here, although you can do this on console too. It's a lot more difficult to do on console than it is on PC, but you can do it. So in order to actually do this exploit in Anchorage, what you're going to need to do is put at least one body in the pod with you when you actually go in. There is one body there that's one of the Garys, so you don't need to be killing everybody else. It's a lot easier if you do kill everybody else in the bunker and shove all their bodies into the pod first before you climb in. That kind of guarantees that you can pull off this exploit. Then you have to play Operation Anchorage up to the point where you get actually into the camp that you can get all your stuff from. While you're in the camp, you have to kill the quartermaster of the US Army. Then you can take his armor, because he's one of the few characters in this simulation that you can actually kill. Once you have his combat armor, then continue through Operation Anchorage like you normally would. And then once you're actually getting to the point of fighting General Jingwei, you have to get to a spot where either he can't find you and you can still pickpocket him. You can do this behind a couple crates, or you can potentially run outside of the area. In order to run outside of the area and back where you came from, the easiest way to do that is just go into third person, spin your camera around once you get close to the wall, and it can usually let you just exit through the gate then. You just have to interact with it there. He'll follow you out, and then find a location where you can hide from him. Having really high sneak is going to make this a lot easier too, to where then you can hide from him, pickpocket him, and then you have to put that combat armor into his inventory. Then you have to take him to some other location so you can go back to the last fight area. Do the same thing that you did, get him there. He'll probably be wearing the combat armor then leave again, then pickpocket him, then you can get his uniform. That is one way that you can do this. And then once you actually leave Operation Anchorage, once you've killed him and completed the main mission, then you want to be spam clicking as soon as you're leaving the simulation so that you can interact with one of the bodies that you put in the pod, put all of your stuff from Anchorage into that body, come out, interact with that body, and then you can grab all your things. This can include his outfit. And his outfit is one of the best things that you can actually get there. You can also get unbreakable guns or nearly unbreakable guns. So if you want like an assault rifle, combat shotgun, sniper rifle, Gauss rifle that are all unbreakable, you can do that from Anchorage. There's actually a lot of stuff you can do. You can also get Jingwei's shock sword if you knock that out of his hand and then pick it up and then do the swap. There's actually even more things than I thought there was for this, but it also allows you to have basically unlimited ammo with any of the guns that are in there too. The General's outfit is actually pretty crazy. This one gives you 25 damage resist for only weighing 2. So it is like the best armor compared to weight that you can get in pretty much all of Fallout. It's also pretty much unbreakable. It has like 9,999 health. Coming in at number 7, we have the T-51B power armor from Fallout 3, because you can get this in a couple different Fallout games, and it's not very rare in some of them. In Fallout 3, there is only one version of this. Now, there is one way that you can get this armor that involves doing it with a quest. So in order to get this quest, you have to go to Underworld, and you have to talk to a guy named Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley will then give you the quest. You gotta shoot him in the head, where he'll put a bounty out on different people, to where if you kill them and bring him back their keys, then he will pay you an extra reward. He says that all these people are bigots and don't really like ghouls, and they should be killed for one reason or another. Some of this is kind of true, but mostly he wants those keys so he can actually get this power armor. This power armor can be found in Fort Constantine. You will need multiple keys in actually order to get down there. I think you can actually get in if you have, like, maxed out lockpicking too, but this way it's more tied to the quest, and you will need to go all around the wasteland to talk to multiple people or kill multiple people in order to get their keys. You can also pickpocket them potentially too if you want the keys that way. It depends on which characters you're talking to though. Once you have all the keys, then you can go there, unlock all of this, and you can actually get the armor. If you do this, then Crowley will not like you because you figured it out and you got the armor. You could also unlock everything, go over to Crowley, sell him back all the keys, then go and get the armor. He still won't like you, and then he'll actively try to hunt you down. So he might be showing up at some random point to try to kill you. But the T-51B armor is pretty cool. This one actually gives you the most defense out of any of the armors besides the Hellfire armor that was added in Broken Steel, which then they're equal. But this one has 50 damage resist. It also gives you plus 25 radiation resistance, which is nice. And the helmet has 10 armor on it as well, giving you plus 1 charisma and 8 radiation resist. So it is a very tanky armor if you want to be using it. There is only the one thing of T-51B armor though, to where you can't really be fixing it up with anything else. There is technically the winterized T-51B, but you get that one from Anchorage. And that one's unbreakable. This one is breakable, although it does have a lot of item HP. I think it has the most item HP out of any armor in the game. So it does take a while for it to break, but you're not going to be able to fix it up any other way, at least by yourself. You can pay vendors to fix it up for you, but it's going to cost a lot. Coming in at number 8, we have Goalie Ledoux's Hockey Mask. Now this one can be found in Fallout 3, and this one is found on an unmarked quest. And if you've never seen this one before, I don't really blame you, because it's kind of hard to get, at least if you aren't aware of what you have to be doing. So in order to get this one, you have to do the unmarked quest, which is called the Nuka-Cola Challenge. Well, at least that's part of Sierra's quest, where you're going to the Nuka-Cola factory and you have to fight your way through all the Nuka-Larks. In there, you can find a corpse that actually has plans talking about a clear formula for Nuka-Cola. And there's also a meeting point that's discussed in there too, which is right outside the Red Racer factory, which is fairly close to the Nuka-Cola factory. If you head out over there and you wait, then Ledoux and his crew will show up, and then they will be wanting to buy this off of you. You can barter check them, I believe, and then get more money out of this, and then you can just choose to kill them and take back the formula if you'd like. These are raiders, so you don't get any negative karma from this, as well as you can get Ledoux's Hockey Mask, which is actually really good. In terms of stats, this one gives you 4 armor, which is not bad. The Hockey Masks are actually okay in terms of defense, but this one gives you plus 25 action points, which is a huge bonus, especially given how strong VATS is in Fallout 3. So this one's really nice, and you can just repair with Hockey Masks, which are very common. You can find them just randomly in boxes, and sometimes raiders have them too. So this one can be totally worth it if you're going for a VATS build in Fallout 3. Coming in at number 9, we have Hat of the People. This one is also available in Fallout 3. This one's available in the Pit DLC, and this one can be really easily missed because it's in another kind of unmarked location in the pit. In order to find this one, you're going to have to get to the abandoned apartments in the pit, which is available after you've already completed the first couple sections of the pit, and you're going up to the Raiders area. If you plan on not siding with the Raiders, then this one you can be locked out of. If you are going to be siding with the Raiders, though, then this doesn't matter. You can always go and get this one. The abandoned apartments are just found in the upper part of the pit, and they can be found behind I think it's an easily locked gate. Once you get through that, then you can go in there. The area is full of trogs, and in one part of the building, you can find a safe. The safe has an average lock on it, and inside the safe, then you can find the Hat of the People. You can also find some other weapons inside of that apartment building, where you can find multiple Chinese assault rifles and a 44 Magnum up there. The Hat of the People is the unique Chinese commando hat, presumably that somebody from some Chinese spy was living there, and that's why they had the AKs and the 44 and everything, and why they have this hat. The hat isn't really anything special, it's just kind of an easy item to miss. This one just gives 1 damage resistance, and it gives you plus 5 small guns, nothing else there. It's not a bad hat to be throwing on, but it's definitely not going to be one of the best things that you can get from the pit, especially considering you can get the filtration helmet, I think is the second reward from the pit, and that one's just really good. Like, it looks really cool. And then coming in at number 10 for this list, we have the Brahmin armor from Fallout Tactics. This one is a unique armor that you can only get during a special encounter. So this one gives you 20 AC bonus, which is like basically chance to dodge in the older games, and it had 25 damage resistance towards regular damage as well as 3 damage threshold. It did give some fire resistance, energy resistance, electrical, and explosive resistance, and unlike the Devil Thorn jacket that we talked about in the last one, that was a Diablo reference, you could actually wear this one if you would want to. The thing was, though, is if you chose to wear this armor, at least if you were a human and you chose to wear this, then you would actually turn into a Brahmin. And it was just the model only, which is kind of silly. If you were like a ghoul, a super mutant, a robot, or the Pip-Boy, then if you wear this, it actually doesn't give you anything. Those ones don't actually change their form, at least with this particular armor. I don't think the Pip-Boy changes regardless of what you put him in, even if you were to try to put him in like power armor. The Brahmin armor is kind of silly. This can be found during a special event, so you do have to either randomly wander around the wasteland until you can find this one, or you can potentially go to a couple locations where it might be. And this one can actually be pretty difficult because where you spawn is not really the best spot, and there is 4 turrets around there, and turrets in Tactics were actually really scary, especially if you find this early on, then they can just like 100 to 0 one of your characters, or potentially your whole team. So, like, they just do a lot of damage. They're not as scaled up as turrets in the late game, though. So if you're going to this random encounter about midway through, or especially towards the end game of Tactics, you're probably not going to have a problem with this. But if you're going there really early on, it's probably going to kill members of your team, or it might just wipe your whole team, so you don't really want to go there super early on. It can be a really scary event to find, and that would be 10 more really hard to find or really easy to miss pieces of armor in Fallout. Tell me your thoughts on these. Which ones are your favorite? Should I have included other ones? Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.